Hello people! Today we're going to be working on a set of nails I'm calling Reindeer Plaid. I'm going to start off with a medium length Coffin Tip, which I prepped already. And I'm going in with this Beetles green. Now I have been seeing a whole lot of the red buffalo plaid this year, and I like it, but frankly I'm just sick of red. So decided to do my own version in a green instead. And this is the last set of Christmas nails for the year. Yay! I do have some cute winter designs coming up, so we will stay tuned for that. I believe the next one I think I'm going to attempt is something with the polar bear. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get this green on here. Now I'm putting it on really super thin because I'm a little leery of wrinkling. I had issues with my Christmas gonk set that I did. My red had some wrinkling issues. So now I'm like being extra careful. We'll get this on here. And that will get cured once I am done getting that on there. I will check and make sure I don't have any sloppage underneath. And if I do, I will use my cleanup brush with some alcohol to get that off. And apparently I either didn't or I just didn't take it off. Okay, on to the second coat. I did 2 coats on these. And in case you didn't notice, I have sped this up to double time on this whole section, on the polishing sections. I hope y'all are ready for Christmas. I know I am. I'm going to be going out to visit my parents for a week. So that should be fun. In case anybody's interested, my dad came through his surgery fine. So that's good, exciting, happy. I was really worried something was going to go wrong, and right before Christmas it would have been a disaster. But everything was fine. And we have one more to go, and then we're done with the polishing. And those are going to go in to be cured. And then we are on to the plaid. Now I'm using base gel. And I will be mixing some black polish with it to get kind of a transparent black. Now with this first batch of this that I mixed up, I ended up putting in a bit too much black, and it came out a little darker than I would have liked. When I had to mix up some more after this, I then made it just a little lighter. And my trusty old cheap striper brush. I'm just going to mix this in until I get the color I'm looking for. Like I said, I went a little crazy with this one. I should have stopped right there, but then I went and put in another blob of the black. And when I am done mixing this, we will be ready to go ahead and do the first one. It is an awful lot of mixing. Oh, also when I was mixing it, I managed to mix a bunch of bubbles in there, so I was trying to squish them out, make sure they were all out of there before I start painting. And I'm going to start with the thumb, and we're just going to do a stripe down kind of off-centered, and then I'm going to go in and straighten it out. Just make sure I get it fairly straight. And then I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to go ahead and put another stripe on the other half. Now, since these stripes are a little bit thicker, I decided to flash cure in between doing that and the horizontal stripes. I didn't want to end up dragging too much across. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the horizontal stripes. Now, I didn't measure any of these, I'm just eyeballing them. But there will be 4 stripes going down the nail. Also, with this plaid design, most people will go in and they'll paint all the intersections of the stripes. They'll fill it in with the solid color. Like in this case would be black, but I didn't do that. I felt like it looked good enough. And secondly, since these are skinnier stripes, they're not the wider ones, it just didn't seem like it was necessary to me. But I will just carry on here. Okay, people, I am back. Had some technical difficulties. Apparently my computer does not have enough memory anymore for me to do my editing on there and my voiceover, so I might be getting a new computer. Yay! Anyways, we're carrying on with the horizontal lines on here. I had to have my husband set this all up on his computer, which was a massive ordeal. So hopefully it's going to come out good by the time I'm done. I really hate all this technical stuff. It is not in my wheelhouse and is very frustrating when things don't work right. And we're almost done with the horizontal lines on here. All right, and I will go ahead and give that a full cure. And I will finish the rest of those off camera. And now we are going to move on to the little thin gold lines that are going to go on the plaid. So I'm going to use some base coat, and I'm going to get my chrome powder, gold chrome powder. We're going to take just a tiny bit of that and mix that in with the base coat to get some gold paint. I did not have the proper glitter polish or gold paint to use for this, My gel paint that is gold is really yellowy looking, and I just didn't want that color. So we had to improvise. And we're just going to mix that all in until all the powder is mixed in. And I am not going to use that brush for painting the gold stripe because I want a really thin stripe. So when I'm done mixing this up, I'm going to switch to my detailer brush. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do one vertical stripe and one horizontal stripe near the bottom. This was a little trickier to get my lines on here because that's a long line, and that's why we use a striper, so we can do it in an easier swipe with this littler brush. It was a little more difficult to get my lines straight. And then we'll go in. I did not flash in between the horizontal and vertical lines on the gold because it was really thin. I thought it would be okay, and it was. But in that little bottom, not the very bottom, but the in between the two bottom stripes is where the little thin gold line will go. When I get done with that, I'll give that a full cure. And I will go in and do the rest of the gold lines on the other ones off camera, because you don't need to see that. And there's where we are so far. I don't know. Oh yeah, okay. That was base coat again. I'm going to give these a layer of base coat because I'm trying to even them out more. Just the ones where the plaid is, because they have the black lines of the plaid are kind of taller than the rest of it, and I don't want them to be bumpy like that. So the base coat will help to fill those in and level them off. And then I will cure that. And we're moving on to the stamping portion. I got these stamping plates. There was a set of, I believe, either 6 or 8 of these on Amazon not that long ago for fairly cheap, and I thought I'd get them just for the heck of it. And turns out they actually are pretty good. Using white stamping polish. And as I always do, I will highly recommend the Born Pretty stamping polishes because they work very well. They're very pigmented, easy to work with. And I think I'm going to start off with the little kind of snowy house that's going to go in the middle of one of the plain nails. And once I get that picked up, which it picked up nicely and you can't see very well, I'm going to clean off the extra stuff around there by just getting it, letting it pick off on my scraper. And now we're ready to place it on the nail. Get it lined up where you want it and just roll it right on there. Now this particular nail we're going to go back and do some detail painting on later. But now we're going to move on to the reindeer. We're going to have one reindeer on this plain nail, and then we're going to put another one on the thumb, I believe it was. Hey, there's 2 different reindeers on here. There's a regular standing one and then a leaping one. The standing one is the one I'm going to put on this other plain nail. I had a good stamping day when I was doing these. Everything was working nicely like it was supposed to for a change. It always makes the process so much nicer when things work the way they should. Which is a nice change of pace after doing my Christmas set of my own nails. I had so much problems with all of it that when you have a set that goes smoothly, it just makes it so much more enjoyable to work on. I am just going to clean off the extra bits off of there, and then we're going to line them up where we want them and just roll them right onto there. And that leaves the thumb where I'm going to put the leaping deer on the thumb. And I'm going to place this one closer to the bottom. And there he is. And now we are ready to move on to painting the snowy bits on the house one. Oh, no, we're not. I lied. We're going to move on to painting the little pine branches at the top of a couple of the nails. Now, I didn't use painting gel for this because, frankly, I don't have green painting gel, and I didn't feel like trying to mix some up. I don't have really yellow either, so all I had was the gold, which I didn't want to use to mix with the blue to try to get some green, so I'm just going with a couple of different polishes, colors of polish. It's going to be really hard to see when I'm painting it because it's green on green. Well, you use the detailer brush again, the same one I just used for the gold lines. And on the top of the plain nail with the one reindeer on it, we're going to do some pine branches. Now, all I did here was I used the darker and started off by painting the branch line, like the main part of the branch, which you really can't see very well. Now, a lot of this I was out of shot, so it may get a little jerky where I've cut things to try to get in so you can see what I'm doing. But then I'm just going to make short little thin lines down the one side of the branch and then down the other side for the pine needles. And I'm trying to decide where I was going to put the second branch. So I'm doing 2 branches on here. And so I'm going to come down from that corner again, come down this way a little bit, and just do the same thing again. It'd be nice if you guys could actually see what I was doing better. They don't have to be perfect because they're pine needles and, they're just not perfect. Every branch is going to be different. Once I get done with that color, I'm going to give that a flash cure. Then I'm going to go back with the lighter green, and I'm just going to go over the pine needles and do the same thing, but with the lighter green to give it a little bit of depth and contrast, and hopefully to make it show up on the green nail. You'll notice I'm working on the thumbnail because the rest of that other one was out of shot. Okay, now I've given that a flash cured that again, and then I'm going to go over those again with the darker green. We'll do that on both of the branches. And then after I get that on, I'll give it a full cure. And the rest of those I will finish off camera. And once I'm happy with that, then we'll give it a full cure now. Okay, now we're moving on to the snowy house nail. I'm going to use white painting gel for this. Not going to need a whole lot. What am I doing? Well, somehow I missed the whole section of painting the snowy stuff on there. I don't know what happened there. Well, I guess we're moving on to the pine cones. I don't know what happened to that whole section. I know I recorded it. Well, it was easy to do. You'll see, you can tell just by looking at it, you're just going to paint some triangle-y sections on the side and with the snowy white and then fill them in. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Okay, moving on to the pine cones. I'm just going to put a couple little dots of gem glue on there to help hold the carving gel on, which we're using brown, as you can see. I'm just going to kind of flatten that out a little bit. And then I'm going to stick it right on there. And flatten it down. And then we're going to get out the piece for the other one. There's going to be 2 pine cones on the thumb. And then there's one on the plain nail that has the one reindeer on it. Okay, I started off with this little brush and I'm just using alcohol to work the carving gel. Smooth it out and get it into some kind of a pine coney looking shape. This little brush didn't work out so well. At some point I switched to a different one. And then I also used a silicone tool to help shape a little bit. Okay, I'm going to use the silicone tool and just continue to shape these until I get them into some kind of a pine coney looking shape. And then we're going to put the little, oh no we're not, I'm just going to smooth that out. What I am going to do eventually here is put the little, okay, here we go. We're going to put the little like grooves in there to make them look like the pine cone things. Now that thing I'm using is actually a picker-upper for diamond painting, as I also do that. And I had started off using this thing, like wax, a little wax goes in the end of that, and I had used it for picking up crystals for a while. But it worked out perfectly for doing the pine cones because it's got a tiny little, I needed something with a tiny little curved shape that I could use to press in there. And that was the perfect size. So you could use, whatever you could find that has a small curve, half circle shape. I'm not pressing it straight down because then I would get the full circle. We're just pressing one side of it in there to make the little pine coney bits. And there we have them. Now at the end of here, I did not top coat over top of the pine cones because I was afraid of losing the definition of all those little grooves we just put in there. But I will top coat around the nail again, or like just butt up next to those to cover up any bits of glue that are shiny, just like with crystals. You don't want to see the shiny glue. So we'll give it another layer of matte top coat at the end, and I'm not sure if I filmed that or not. I've had so many issues with computer stuff lately that kind of losing track. With all the other Christmas stuff going on and things I got to get done for different things, it's been kind of hectic around here. And there we are. I'll give that a cure, and there's the full set done. If you liked what you saw, please give this a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you very much for watching.